How's it going, everybody? Flash Jordan here. We are back for Season 3 of the Jordan and Dad Show here on the Flash Jordan channel. Of course, I'm joined by my father, Craig Dad Cruz. How are you doing tonight?
What's up? It's just a couple days before the college season officially kicks off with games. I'm ready to go.
Yep, as he said, the season officially kicks off in a few days, starting with Duquesne and UMass. I cannot wait to watch that. Not really, I'm not going to watch it. Anyway, though, we do have...
Really? You're not going to watch it at all?
No. Today,
as we were recording one of the games.
Well, I mean, I might. I don't know. We'll see what I have going. But today, the AP poll came out. The top 25. It's a little bit different from the coaches poll. They're mostly pretty similar a lot of the time. But we do have this nice graphic made by... Did you make this?
I did make it. It took me a minute to make it. I could have done better, but yeah.
So we have this graphic made. It's a comparison between the AP and coaches poll. As you see, the biggest dropper was Virginia Tech, and the biggest risers, I should say, were Wisconsin and West Virginia. Are you surprised by anything in the AP poll?
Well, what I am surprised about is the fact that they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 teams that didn't change at all. Usually there's quite a bit of difference. This year, in the middle of the road between Stanford and TCU, they're all 13 through 16. But if you look at the surprises that the AP poll has Ohio State at 5, Wisconsin at 4. That's honestly the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah, it didn't honestly surprise me. I know a lot of the people that are voting are Southern, and they don't really think high of the Big Ten. So when they're voting and they see something that's happening at Ohio State, the whole thing with Urban Meyer, which is set to be completed soon, but they're going to put him down a little bit at 5. I have no problem with it. Being an Ohio State fan, I get it. Obviously, yeah. I would have ranked us higher, but it is what it is. And let's move on now to our Week 1 predictions. Let's get right into them. And speaking of Ohio State, for some reason, Oregon State at number 5, Ohio State, is on the college pick'em for Week 1. Again, I don't understand why it's here. Obviously, I'm going the Buckeyes huge in this one. Whether Urban Meyer's there or not, Ohio State will destroy Oregon State.
Well, in all reality, Oregon State is not a great team. So Ohio State every year has the ability to beat every team athletically. I think they should blow them out, honestly. But my prediction is a 2-touchdown game. But Ohio State will take the win.
All right. Next game we have here, number 23 Texas versus the Maryland Terrapins. Now this technically is a neutral site game, but it is in DC, which is obviously basically in Maryland. That being said, I am picking Texas. I know last year everyone picked Texas too. I think Texas was also ranked 23 last year when they hosted Maryland. Maryland went in there and took down Texas. This is going to be a great game, but I think Texas will ultimately end up beating Maryland.
So we're just starting with the Saturday games, right?
Yeah.
Look, dude, didn't Maryland beat Texas last year?
Yep.
The difference is, though, this year, Maryland, with their controversy, I really don't want to get into the whole controversy thing, but it may or may not affect the current players. My guess is that it will, because all those people are suspended or on paid leave or what have you. I think Texas just go in there and obliterate them. That's my guess, because the program just is horrible at Maryland. It's horrible.
Yeah. Next game we have here, the Ole Miss Rebels versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders. This game is technically in Houston, but it's in Texas Tech's backyard, essentially. And I think Texas Tech is going to get the win here. Texas Tech has been on a lot of pick'em games the last few years, because they've always been that middle-of-the-road team. You never know. They're really hard to predict, but I think Texas Tech is going to take this one.
Yeah, I picked Ole Miss. I picked Ole Miss because both teams are probably about the same. And it's a toss-up. I have it as my, like, we're doing the confidence this year, where you can, like we do every year.
Yeah.
I still have them at the 3 spot.
Yeah, it was a tough game
Almost
for me.
win.
Yeah, it was a tough game for me, but I ultimately went Texas Tech. Next game here, very interesting one. The FAU Owls at the number 7 Oklahoma Sooners. Now, I predict that the FAU Owls will be the best Group of 5 team. Mark my words, I don't think UCF will be, or Boise State. I think FAU is going to be the best Group of 5. I keep saying Power 5.
Right?
Yep, with Lane Kiffin at the coach.
Yeah.
And they're going at number 7 Oklahoma. They could potentially win this game. I know Oklahoma's starting QB Kyler Murray, drafted in the first round by the Oakland Athletics in baseball. And his agent said he's not going to be playing football after this year, so I don't know if he's going to be 100% focused. That being said, I do think Oklahoma does pull this one out.
That's a really good point, actually, about Oklahoma's quarterback. I have Oklahoma winning this one. It's my number 4 as well. That's a great point, though, because, you know, Lane Kiffin, Mr. I got to be in the spotlight all the time, isn't doing a bad job with the Group of 5 team. Mm-hmm. And I might change that pick, actually. But I'm thinking Oklahoma at this point.
Next game we have here, big game of the week, the number 6 Washington Huskies versus the number 9 Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, can I say something real quick? I feel like this should be the game of the week.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
This game, I believe, is in New Orleans. Check me, it's either New Orleans or Atlanta. But either way, it's really close to Auburn, so it's really not that much of a neutral site game. But anyway, I think Washington's going to beat Auburn in this one. A lot of people are hating on Washington. They're really propping Auburn up. I think Washington goes in there and gets the win versus Auburn.
Well, I think they have the team to do it. I mean, obviously, it's only on paper at this point, but man, like 80% of the fans have picked Auburn to win this game. I don't see why they wouldn't. I really don't. If you look at, like, Auburn, they play Washington, and then they play, like, what, Alcorn State, and then, or whatever it is, and then they play LSU, Arkansas. They've got a really tough schedule, so they have to, like, if they win this game of the week, Auburn, and they go 11-1, meaning, like, their only loss is Alabama. I can see Alabama and Auburn getting into the college football playoffs. But anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, they have to win this game. They have to. They want to get in the playoffs. They have to.
Next game we have here, the Tennessee Volunteers versus the West Virginia Mountaineers. A bunch of ears here. This is I think this will be a good game. Tennessee looking for a redemption year, going 4-8 last year. Obviously a horrible year for them and their high expectations. West Virginia, I think, could be one of the best teams in the country this year with Will Grier at quarterback. And I think they're going to start off the year with a win. West Virginia is going to beat Tennessee. I think it'll be close for about a half, but then Will Grier is going to take over in the second half, and West Virginia is going to beat Tennessee.
So it's funny, like, I moved this pick. See, I already picked my pick'ems, you know, before the recording. I moved this to my number 10 game because I have West Virginia blowing out Tennessee. I can't believe, dude, here's the thing. I can't believe that this is even a game because Tennessee was disgusting last year.
Yeah.
How can they put West Virginia versus Tennessee? Like, there's going to be, what is there going to be, some miracle?
Yeah.
Like, is Armageddon going to happen during the game and kill the Mountaineers and the Volunteers are going to win? I don't get it. But this is not even. This is a 10 pick for me.
Probably not. It is the North. This is a very interesting one because I don't really know much about either of these teams. The North Carolina Tar Heels and the Cal Golden Bears. North Carolina is looking for a redemption season too, kind of like Tennessee. They went 3-9 last year. That is just unacceptable for a team that has been pretty solid the years before that. But I don't think it's going to start off with a win this year. I think Cal is going to take this one. One of the best plays from last year is when Cal's quarterback was upended into the end zone by the Washington State guy. It was really awesome, and I think Cal is going to start off with a win in 2018.
Yeah, you're right about, North Carolina going mostly L's on their schedule.
To say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at California, they didn't have, I think they had 5 wins last year. So this is 2 bottom of the barrel 2017 teams going together, and these are the tougher ones to pick. I have them in my 8 slot right now, but I think I'm going to move. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Actually, I'm going to move them where Texas and Maryland are. I'm going to move them for sure because that's just I don't know. I'm going to go Cal here.
You're going Cal, yeah.
I'm going Cal for popularity purposes.
The next game we have here, this is probably the game of the week, so we're going to save that for last, actually. Next game we have here is Louisville versus Bama. Again, it's another big opening game for Bama on a neutral field against, not a great team. Florida State may have been the exception, but their quarterback did get injured, so I don't know. Louisville versus Bama, and if you pick Louisville in this game, you are out of your mind. I think this is the most lopsided game of the week. I would say Ohio State, Oregon State, but because of the thing with Urban Meyer, maybe that'll change a little bit. But Alabama is going to trample Louisville very easily. I think it'll be 45-17.
I would say that a couple of years ago, an Alabama-Louisville game, which, by the way, it is pronounced Louisville.
Louisville, yeah.
If you're in Louisville, if you're in Kentucky or the surrounding area, if you're from the north or the Midwest, it's Louisville, like Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
But a couple of years ago, this would have been a great game.
Yeah.
Notable teams that they beat last year, take a guess. Louisville.
0.
They beat Florida State, and Florida State was not very good.
No.
So you're talking, they haven't had a great game. They got slaughtered by Clemson. They're getting ready to play Alabama. Maybe this should be the 10 game.
That's what this is definitely my 10 game. Alabama just,
it's a lot of 10 games.
They're not losing to Louisville. Next game we have here is BYU versus Arizona. This is an interesting game. BYU was good for a few years with Taysom Hill, and Arizona looking like they could be on the comeback with their quarterback and Khalil Tate. And I'm going to take Arizona to win this one. I think Khalil Tate will go nuts in this first game. Arizona.
I picked Arizona as well, and Arizona, look, for the last several years, BYU has been this magic team. So, no surprises. I'm going to have to move them from my 6th spot down to, 4. Yeah.
You got Arizona?
Yeah, I have Arizona.
Yeah. And the final game, well, actually, we're going to predict a couple other games first, actually. Quickly here, let's go to the games on Sunday and Monday as I roll through here. And while I'm rolling through here, let's quickly talk about the Alabama quarterback situation. I think there are a lot of people who are trying to hype up Jalen Hurts, trying to stand behind him. But truthfully, as someone who's had experience in this with Cardale Jones and JT Barrett after we won it in 2014, Tua Tagovailoa is definitely going to start in week 1. No question about it in my mind.
I don't think, here's the other thing. You're right about that. It's very similar circumstances with Ohio State faced. But for the most part, I would say that in this situation, it reminds me of the Cardale Jones issue, which it's the same year. But, man, what do you do? Because, you're going to lose, ultimately you're going to lose interest. Yeah. As, if you're the freshman and you're not starting, you're going to get a taste of, I had my fame and I want to continue that. Yeah. So, Hurts is going to be, the foundation. But I think they should start Hurts. And then if something happens to him, you got somebody there.
Right.
Because as soon as Hurts is gone, this guy's got, a couple of years to play. I don't understand why it's an issue, actually.
Let's move on to the game on Sunday, which is played at AT&T Stadium. Number 8 Miami versus number 25 LSU. I think this will be a fantastic game. I don't think Miami should be number 8, but I don't think LSU should be 25 either. I don't think LSU should be ranked at all. I think Miami is going to get this win. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. Miami ultimately comes out on top.
So most of the Vegas odds and the gambling bookies or whatever are kind of got LSU to win this game by at least a touchdown. So I'm going to pick LSU just because.
Next game we have here is number 20 Virginia Tech at number 19 Florida State. both of these teams are pretty interesting. Virginia Tech, coming off the year where they were one win away from maybe going to the ACC championship. Sorry about that. Against Miami, and Florida State, obviously with a disappointing season last year after DeAndre Francois got injured in the game against Alabama. This is a really tough one, but I am going to pick Florida State to win this one. This is a really tough one. I don't really know much about either of these teams, but I think Florida State's going to come back in a low-scoring game and beat Virginia Tech.
So you think that Virginia Tech's going to dominate during most of it, and then FSU is going to have a comeback win? That's what I heard you just say.
Yeah, I think maybe Florida State will get out to an early lead, and then Virginia Tech will bring it back, and I think DeAndre Francois will make a play down the stretch, and Florida State's going to win it.
Well, that's a safe pick, saying that it's going to be close. But I think this is going to be decided. And I hate making predictions, but I love the suspense. I think it's going to be decided by a field goal. And I've got Virginia Tech winning this one. I would call it an upset too. Like if Virginia Tech wins this game, it's going to be bad for FSU, especially first game of the year.
Yeah.
But that's the time to lose, I guess.
And now going to the game of the week, College Game Day will be there on Saturday morning. The number 14. Okay, hold on. Before we continue, it's really not the game of the week, honestly, in our opinion. I think Washington Auburn probably is, but College Game Day is going to be there, so that's why I said that. Number 14, Michigan Wolverines at the number 12, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I think whoever wins this game may ride that wave all the way, I know this is a bold prediction, all the way into the college football playoff. This is a huge game for both of these programs. Both of these coaches looking to prove something. Jim Harbaugh hasn't made the playoff or a Big Ten championship yet in 3 years. And Brian Kelly, Notre Dame's been down the last couple of years, so he needs to get them back on their feet. So a lot of people are picking Michigan to win this game. And if I hadn't already picked Notre Dame before in our Big Ten preseason prediction video, I would probably pick Michigan as well. But I'm going to stick to my gut, and Notre Dame is going to take this one.
Do you mind if I spend a few seconds asking you some questions?
Go ahead.
About this game?
Interrogate me.
Just curious, without looking it up. This is a rivalry, really.
Yeah.
Really it is. But do you know how many times they've actually met? Just take a guess. Just a guess.
50.
42.
42.
So they've met 42 times. Michigan has a lead by 8 games. But the last time they met, in 2014.
Wait, can I tell you the score of that game? Because I know what it is. And I did not look it up. 31-0 Notre Dame.
37-0.
37. Dang it.
Yeah.
Ah.
And it's also the year that a certain Big Ten team beat Notre Dame, I think, the same year. And so that means that Michigan was absolutely horrible. There's just a lot of comparisons, so.
A certain Big Ten team won the national championship that year, too.
Yeah, that is true. But Notre Dame is the same as Michigan in my boat, is equally hated as a team. No, that's true. Actually, I would rather see Notre Dame win a championship than Michigan. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And really, I mean, I'm a Big Ten guy. I love the Big Ten. It's my conference. But man, come on, to see Michigan win is kind of it hurts.
Yeah.
So, but I would say, man, Notre Dame, man, they should win this game. They should, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Notre Dame all the way. Michigan, I would love to see them 7-5, 6-6, and Harbaugh, that would just be beautiful, wouldn't it?
That would be amazing. All right, so that'll end our, I don't know what I'm going to say here. That'll end our first video of the 2018 regular season here for week 1. We will be back next week for week 2. It's going to be an exciting first week in college football. I'm really looking forward to it. Any last words from the people at home?
Yeah, I love college pick'em. I don't know what it is about it, but I'm never right, so don't go off on my picks every week. I tend to be wrong. And with that, I say, Daddy, you'll out.